Well, here we are in 2022. 2021 went by like a flash. But before we dive into 2022 and talk about all the new things coming up in the year ahead, should we first have a look back at 2021 and all the wonderful things we shared together? Hey folks, it's Finn. Welcome back, lovely people. Thank you for tuning in to another video and a very, very, very happy new year to you all. So in today's video, what I plan to do is share all of my highlights from 2021 with you. Those who follow my channel will know that I'm really not a fan of New Year's resolutions. When we come to the end of a year, I'm sure many people can relate to this. You come to the end of a year and you start thinking, and your head goes straight away to, I didn't do this, I said I was going to do this and I didn't. And then your head just starts spiraling into all the things you've let yourself down for. And then you quickly jump into making New Year's resolutions for the next year, but they're made out of guilt and shame for what you didn't achieve. That's not a healthy way to start a new year. I much prefer to break it down like this. So first I stop and I take time to do some deep reflection and pull out all of the wonderful things from the previous year. And I don't mean just successes and achievements, they're important, but any standout amazing moment, the people you spend time with, the places you've been, all of these things that make you smile. And then from that position, once we've done that really thorough review of a previous year, you're then in a much healthier mindset to move into a new year and be much clearer on the goals, achievements, things that you want to set for the year ahead. You make them from a much deeper, much kinder place than you would when you're feeling guilty for all the stuff you didn't do. Does that make sense? So in today's video, I'm just going to pick out some of the biggest things that have happened this year that have made me feel proud, that have made me feel achieved, that have made me happy, made me feel grateful, and share them with you all. But before I dive in, I just want to say a huge welcome to all the new viewers I've been seeing around the comment sections lately. It's wonderful to have you all here, ready to start on another adventure in 2022 with me. If you are new and you haven't already subscribed, please do. And also tick the notification bell. Then you'll get an email whenever I upload any new content. Now, the most standout moment for me of 2021 was, of course, walking into 2021 as an engaged man. Chris proposed on Christmas Day 2020. Why did it say fiancé?
Because, Mr. Games, I love you so much. And I was going to think of loads of words and everything, but you complete me. So, would you marry me?
Of course I said yes, as you all know, and it's just been such a wonderful thing to smile about all year. And I've been doing Paul Chris's head in because at every moment I'd be saying, oh, this is the first time we've done this as a fiancé, this is the first time I've done this as a fiancé. So it's snowing and we've just realised that this is our first time in the snow together as a couple, but it's my first time in the snow as a fiancé! You know, it's just been lovely, and we've been talking about wedding plans, which at the moment, COVID and my health, we're not rushing, probably going to be a year or two, but to be starting to plan that and to just be planning a whole life together and planning growing old together, it's just wonderful. This, by far, is the proudest moment for me in 2021, holding a copy of my own book. And even now, seeing my name on it, seeing my little blurb and picture on the back, reading my words, it's just incredible. I've always wanted to write a book. As a youngster, I was just fascinated by books. I loved to read and being read to. I just always had this idea that, you know, I'd write a book one day and the idea somebody would be reading my book to someone. Although I didn't think my book would be about my penis. And so this is not likely to be read to anyone. But regardless, I wrote a book, and that is one heck of an achievement, and I'm incredibly proud. And not just proud of the book, but proud of the impact it's made. I've had lots of messages from people who have read it and it's made such a difference to them, which means the world to me, because this is not easy to write. It's very personal, not just about lower surgery itself, but about my intimate relationship with myself and and others sexually, so this wasn't an easy book to write. But to hear how much it's made a difference means the absolute world. A huge work achievement for me this year is doing more and more public speaking and getting paid properly for it. That has been incredible for me, especially because it's something I never thought in a million years I'd be doing. I'm so anxious. I have flashbacks to awful moments at school, at college, at uni, where I had to get up and speak and I'd be sweating, I'd be feeling sick. 9 times out of 10 I'd bolt it out of the room, and yet here am I doing this for a living, which is still very bizarre. I've got AA to thank for it, because going to Alcoholics Anonymous I've had to do a lot of shares because that's part of the deal when you're in recovery, and that has just made me a really good speaker, and I'm able to acknowledge the fact I'm really good at it. I'm really good. But for me, I'm just so passionate. You know, I've achieved so much and overcome so much, and I'm somebody who didn't think I ever would. So I love just passionately sharing my story of being trans and going through transition, of going through mental health, all of these things, and to inspire other people and to help make change, positive change going forward. It's such an incredible thing to be doing. I'm with the Speakers Collective now, so I'm getting regular work. I do about a talk a month. It feels really good. So for me, I'm so proud of that, and I know that that's going to feature heavily into the year ahead, because it is amazing in terms of work, because it does support my income hugely, but also it makes me feel really good as well. So more of that in 2022. I continue to be really proud of this channel. I absolutely love doing videos, making videos, and I love how it's evolved and become part of my business, and it's made me experiment with trying all different sorts of things. I love the community that comes from it. You know, it's something that even now, this many years in, I started in 2010? Yes, 2010, 2011. And, you know, I still get so much joy from the comment section, from making connection with people, but it also still really helps me. And you can see that now in my recent videos, where I'm making sense of my ill health, and I'm doing very much what I used to do through transition, where I'm just pressing record and I'm going blur and you all appreciate my Finn waffles, and I love that. I love that it's almost, well, it has turned into my online journal. It's where I work things out. It's where all of you share incredibly wise things back with me, which helps me to understand myself more. I love that interconnection as humans we have, that when we really honestly connect with each other, we all grow, and I just think that's a wonderful thing, and I'm so glad to be doing that. Out of this as well have grown memberships, and that's another surprise for me, how much that's grown. I think we're at 38 members now across YouTube membership and my Ko-fi membership. And that has just been such an incredibly touching thing, that people recognise the value in the work I do and realise that most of what I do, especially here on YouTube and on my blog, I do for free. And to have people recognise that and to donate money, either one-off or monthly with memberships, has just been... There's just no words to say how that feels, really. That validates what I do, that it's worthwhile. But it's just lovely that I think people are that kind and that generous that they would do that. And the community that's grown out of that has been amazing as well. The Discord community we've had, it's just a lovely family. And I worried how that would be, because my channel is diverse. My content's diverse. So there's lots of different genders, ages, sexualities, all different types of people, and we've just bonded. And I'm just so proud of that membership, and I'm looking forward to growing that going forward this year. And thank you so much to all you wonderful members. Moving back to Devon has definitely been a highlight of this year. When I left Dawlish, when Mum was poorly, I was so torn. It was definitely the right thing to move and go and look after Mum in her final year. But I loved Devon, and so it's just been serendipity that I found Chris, who had also lived in Devon and also moved away due to family illness. And through COVID, we both just went, what are we doing? We both, you know, life's too short. Where do we really want to be? And to move That huge distance from East Sussex down to Devon was massive, and it was so stressful. It really, really was. You know, it all had to be done so quickly because of Chris finding a job, and we couldn't do anything until Chris had a job. Then once he did, boom, we had to move. Wow, it was intense, but to be back here is just lovely. This is just a part of the world which is just beautiful and calm. It's slower. The pace of life here is much slower, and it's more affordable in terms of us going forward and getting a house. So it's been wonderful to be back here in lovely Devon. Another really proud moment from 21 was being nominated for a National Diversity Award. When I got that email, I was just completely blown away. And as more and more people started nominating for me, I started reading the nominations. I just couldn't believe it. I've taken screenshots of all of them and I've kept them, because at times where I doubt myself, at times where I get the anti-trans people in the comments section saying awful things, I've only got to go and read some of those comments from that diversity award and just know that what I do matters, and the few people that are hateful don't. Of course I'd like to have been shortlisted. Of course I'd have liked to have won. I'm not going to stand here and lie and say I wouldn't. Who wouldn't want to win? But for me, and I know this sounds cheesy, I did win, because what better award is there than seeing lists and lists of amazing comments about how people value the content I provide, about how much of a difference it's made to their lives, how they've changed their lives because of the stuff I've talked about. I mean, what more do you want in life than that? You know, if I'm hit by a bus tomorrow, to know that I've left a lasting impact and made things better for people, it's just wonderful, isn't it? How often does anyone ever get to say that? So I'm incredibly grateful, even though I didn't get shortlisted. And I still do not know who made that very first nomination. Whoever it is, thank you so much, because you absolutely made my year. A standout moment from the year, actually lots of standout moments from this, is me and Chris going camping together. Now, I've always loved camping. I'm a very rough camper, though that might change going forward. Chris isn't. So we kind of ruled out ever going camping together. But moving to Devon, and with us unable to go on holiday still because of COVID, we thought, you know, let's just go camping. We don't have to go far. We can just, because all of Devon's new to us. So we just started booking campsites that were near, so that if Chris had an awful time, we could come back home. He's awake. How'd you sleep, bub? You did a bit. But just to make it easier as well, and we did make the tent more comfortable so that it was a bit more posh than my normal camping. And we've discovered a new hobby together that we both absolutely love it. And we've now bought more camping equipment to make it a little bit more comfortable still going forward for 2022, and there'll be lots more camping adventures. So we've done so much exploring. Chris and I love to go and explore anyway, but it's just been lovely to have this new hobby together where we can go somewhere and we erect a tent and make it our little home, and then we're there chilling out for a couple of days and cooking and stuff, and it's just lovely. And I'm really looking forward to more hilarious camping adventures going forward. In terms of special people from 2021, there's loads. I have incredible friends, especially the friends who went out of their way to help us move. At the time, Chris still couldn't lift much because he wasn't well. Now it's my turn to be unwell. So we had amazing friends. We had a friend, Ricky, who drove all the way from Cornwall to Eastbourne in a van to get us. That's friendship, you know. I'm so grateful for the amazing friends I have. I also saw my brother get married this year, which was an incredible moment. And my standout friend for the year is my best mate from school, Claire, who we've known each other now from, were we like 10, I think? And me transitioning it's never been even a talking point. It's just, this is who I am now. And she's been incredible. Since we've moved up here and I've become quite ill, she's been up twice already, you know. When I told her my book was getting published, she spat her muffin, and that's not a euphemism, across our lounge, you know. That it's so obvious how much she loves me, and, you know, having people in our lives like that who will just go out of the way to do anything for us, you know, I'm just so grateful. I really am. So definitely standout friend from the year, every year really, is Claire, and I can't wait to share more Devon adventures with her. So for June onwards, it's all been quite different in terms of my health being quite poorly.
Robo-gay.
Why?
Well, one, you walk like you've... Where's this one go?
New look.
Oh! Nip shot.
And it's ongoing, and in some ways it's getting worse, and it probably will for a while now. There'll be more updates on that coming. But there has also been some really positive things come out of this ill health. Bear with me. For me, self-awareness is such an important thing in my life. I'm very self-aware. I like to learn more and more about myself. I like to grow as a person. And being ill has helped me to really see some things I hadn't noticed. Some behaviour patterns I'm doing that I hadn't noticed. My overachieving, my perfectionism, I hadn't realised how much that was causing me problems. So that's something I'm now aware of and I'm working on. And also how past trauma that I've worked so hard on mentally is affecting my body. Now I made a video about this recently, I'll put a link up to that. And there's so much more to be said on this. It's something I'm still working on, and I'm looking forward to working on more going forward in 2022. But now it's time to acknowledge how much that trauma has affected my body. I've done the mind stuff, I need to do the body stuff now. So it's been really good to notice that. And it's also been really good to actually have to stop and to be forced to pick, because with this chronic fatigue of mine, what looks to be ME/CFS, I can't do everything. I have to be really careful every day, and if I want to do one thing, something else has to go. And so I'm having to really look at what brings me joy, what serves me the most, and drop the rest. And that's forced me into a position of just really doing the things that I love. And of course, it's challenging. It still is challenging. But it's enabled me to do things I might not have normally done. I can be dreadful for thinking, oh, I want to read a fiction book, but it'd be so much better if I read a book where I could learn something. You know, I've always got to have something with a purpose, rather than just doing it for the sake of doing it. Like cooking, I just don't like cooking. And it's always, well, it's going to take an hour and a half, whereas I could just do an hour's work. You know, so learning to cook went by the by. So now I'm going, okay, well, eating's really important. And because my perspective has changed, I'm finding joy in cooking. You know, which is amazing, and all of you know I'm not somebody that takes joy in cooking easily. So I've had more time for that. I'm attempting to grow plants. I've killed a few. You know, I'm spending time pruning plants, potting plants, stuff that I would have gone, oh, I've got too much work to do this. You know, I'm having to prioritise. I do need to do some work, but I also need to look after myself. So having these new realisations and rejigging my life over these last few months, I've learned a lot from it, and I'm on a new journey now. You'll hear more about that going forward in how I'm going to change things around in 2022 and beyond. So there you go. That's just some of my highlights, special moments, achievements from 2021. I'm writing a blog that's going to go alongside this that goes into much more detail, and I'll put a link to that in the description below once I've done it. And coming up next week, hopefully, is a video all about my goals for 2022. So do stick around for that. What about you folks? What's your biggest achievements, standout moments, special things from 2021? I'd love to hear them, so please do put them in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you next week.